Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast. I'm your host James. I was joined this week by a friend of mine, OJ. He is a director in his own right. He is an independent director, if I think you'd say that. Indie director? Yeah. Anyhow, he does a bunch of stuff and decided to sit down with a podcast with him. He was wondering if I was still doing a podcast. And I said, yeah, I'm doing this one. So he said, okay, I basically said, come on over and let's record. So he took a cue, I guess, from Kevin Smith. He did a lot of talking. It's basically off of one question. So I hope you enjoy. Sorry for the sound quality. There's a microphone sitting between us, and hopefully it's okay. Okay? Enjoy the episode. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. I got a co-host this week. Yeah, maybe back for more. He's been here before for another podcast, but now he's doing this one, the better one, better version. And he's married now, so we're both married guys, so we can talk about stuff if he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting yelled at. No. Anyhow, we were just talking about my hermit crab. I was telling OJ. It's OJ, by the way.
Hello.
I was telling OJ about my hermit crab. I got two of them now. One is called Sheldon, and I've had 3 versions of Leonard. So the first one died after 2 days. The other one died after 1 day. Put the new hermit crab in the case, and he's shy at first. And he looked pretty small, looked about the same size as the other one, but I thought, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe Sheldon is more of a ninja crab, right? So I come out and I thought, wow, it's like, because once we close all the lights and just the little red light on for the tank is on, you can't see very good in there, like it's red.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, I think the old one, Sheldon, is gonna change shells. He's never changed shells since he's been here. He's like, in the small shell, he likes it. Some like it and they stay in it for life. They'll die in it. Anyhow, he's looking at the shell. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna change shells. So I call my wife over and I'm like, he's gonna change shells. And I was pretty sure he was gonna. And then it was her that noticed, no, Leonard version 3.0 had changed shells already, and he was in a bigger shell.
Oh.
Yeah, he had already changed shells within, 45 minutes or so after we had put him in the tank. So we were like, wow, obviously this is a good sign, right? He's changed shells.
Yeah.
He feels comfortable, and he's just muscling his way around the tank. So yesterday, she goes, I can't find him. So I was like, what do you mean you can't find him? It's like a little 10-gallon tank. What he had done is there's a big coconut in there he'd buried himself down, and when they change shells, they molt. So I said this to someone, what's molting? I don't know if you had that look in your face. What's molting? Molting is when they lose their skin.
Yeah.
And then, they get bigger, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to fill out his house.
Yeah.
So he had dug himself down. So I was like, I'll take the coconut and I'm going to put it against the hole against the window, right? So that the other crab can't get in, because sometimes they like to cannibalize each other when they're in that. Yeah. So and the other crab might have taken out too already. I have no fucking idea what's going on, right? So I go over and I do that and I set it up, and I come back last night after I picked up my daughter from work, and I'm putting groceries and stuff away, and it's all dark in there. I'm like, Leonard's out. How the fuck did he get out? I'm like, look, I turn on the light. He must have climbed out through the hole, pushed the coconut back, climbed up on top, and climbed down. But now he's in another shell.
He's getting bigger.
Yeah, and he's like clamping onto the second shell that he was in. And some crabs like to change shells a lot. It's kind of weird. But he's like clamped into the other shell. So I'm like, what's going on? What's he doing? So then, not even 20 minutes later, after I've turned off the lights, go into the kitchen, finish off the stuff there, walk back in to get some water. I look, he's back in his old shell. Like, not the first one, the second one.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck is going on? So what I figure is, because what they do is they shed their outer shell, or whatever it is, outer skin, and then they eat it. It's really weird. So they eat it, and then obviously he left his bowl and ate out of his bowl, and then went back into it. It was really kind of weird. just ate his own ass.
Cleaning house,
Yeah, sick. But then he went back and buried himself. So I don't know. Hopefully, I can get the whole Big Bang Theory in there. That's my whole plan. I need 3 more crab. Wait, is it 3? Yeah.
4.
No, 3. Penny, Raj, and
3 more. Yes.
and Howard.
Yes.
That's it.
And then you gotta add Zoidberg in there too. So.
Well, there's already 2 crabs in there. So, for those of you that don't know, OJ.
Hello.
He. Are you still directing stuff? Are you working on stuff?
Trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I had an idea.
You always have ideas.
Yeah, I have lots of ideas.
Yeah.
Some fly, some don't. I had an idea about a documentary type.
Type?
Yeah, type.
Type.
Yeah. Because, I'm not skinny yet. So I was thinking about putting together footage of stuff. Just, talking about stuff and losing weight, maybe slowly. Been working on it, but no, and then put it together and see what happens. But there was one idea I had that was like, I wonder if you would do that. It's like, unsupersize me. Not that I eat McDonald's or anything like that, but it was just one of those ideas. You ever do a documentary?
I'm working on some stuff for documentaries. Mostly, it's documentaries about football in the city.
For the Spartans.
Not just
Or is it just
it's football in general?
Yeah.
Because football in Sudbury has been around since like 1920s, like just after World War One. Because they brought over rugby from England during just after the victory in Europe and that.
Yeah.
In World War One. So when they brought it over here, it was actually rugby, and then they decided to we'll change a few things.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I kind of chuckle at. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that this year, I don't think the CFL counts in some respects, but as football,
well,
it does.
Well, in essence, the CFL is like the closest you can get to rugby without it being rugby, because the ball is still bigger.
Yeah.
Than the NFL, and it's a bigger field as well. It's just like they never kept I think the official rugby size is just a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Than a CFL field.
It's a little bit wider as well.
Yeah.
It's not as the CFL field isn't as wide as a rugby field either.
No. But you get in essence to an NFL field. NFL field is like way smaller.
Oh yeah, the end zone's a lot smaller as well.
Yeah.
So
because even though it's the CFL, it's a 25-yard end zone.
Yeah.
But I watch football on TV and it's like, wow, that's a big field. Wait a minute, I'm sidelines at most fields. They don't look that big, but it's because of my sideline level.
Yeah.
And the camera angle is like right from the stands and everything. It's amazing we have fields that big in Sudbury, and yet they don't look that big.
Yeah. The when you talk about camera view, it reminds me of like European soccer or football.
Yeah.
Right? Like they call football.
Yeah.
And then if you go watch a MLS game, the camera view makes it seem like the the MLS field is smaller, but it's the exact same size. The pitch is the exact same size, but it's like, why can't I would like the better camera view like that. I don't want a zoomed in camera view. I think it's more of the American view. I want to see who's got the ball. Like, I don't really care. Like, the announcers are the ones that convey that message to you, right?
Yeah.
So, in my view, anyways, I think it's funny. It took me a while to realize it's just the camera angle.
Yeah. And it all depends too. Like, especially in European soccer or European football, they have stadiums. Like, and I don't mean like stadiums that you see down in like the States or whatever. Their stadiums are huge. I only see there's stadiums down in South America too for soccer.
Well, 100,000 people.
Yeah, and they're
just
huge.
Just like an American football game.
Yeah. And then you look at the MLS and it's like, especially what is it, BMO Field?
Yeah, Toronto FC.
Yeah. Their stands aren't that big.
No, I think you can only fit 27,000.
Yeah. And and to be honest, that's probably just enough.
Yeah,
in there.
it's not like they're gonna
Yeah.
sell out every game on.
Yeah, you look at Toronto, you got like you got the soccer, you got football, CFL,
Yeah.
you got Buffalo Bills come up here once in a while too.
Yeah.
You know, once or twice a season, and then you got the hockey and then you got the basketball. So you
Yeah.
get it's oversaturated anyway. With if everything overlaps,
Yeah.
which in Canada it does, because with baseball, football, NHL training camps starting up soon. Same with
Maybe.
basketball. So the baseball is going to be gone by basketball time.
Yeah.
You know, MLS is going on now.
Yeah.
You know, so even lacrosse is down there too.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the thing is, I think they probably it's the MLS style of play. If it wasn't MLS style of play, like the way that they actually do play, which I think isn't pass, head,
Yeah.
pass out of bounds, where they're more running and gunning in the MLS. But a lot of people don't like that. They want the strategic, what seems to to most they don't understand it, but it's like it takes a while to get into someone's end, right?
Yeah.
On this side of the field in European soccer and all those other countries, and if they played more like that, they probably would have a stadium that they could fill with 100,000 people, especially with the amount of immigrants that live in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Right? But they don't have that, so they have to fill it with basically Americanized style people thinking, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's the issue.
And that's the same thing too. Like what you said, like with the amount of immigrants that are in, it's a melting pot. Even like Toronto, like it's all different kinds of cultures down there and everything, and everybody plays soccer, you know, because it's a cheap sport to play. The league that the Spartans are in, there's 2 teams in Toronto that are based in Toronto. This past season, I don't think they played at each team. They played at different fields all year. Both teams.
Really?
Yeah, like
because there was.
yeah, because of bookings and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, because it takes precedent, and they have to book like almost like 3 years ahead of hand.
But the Spartan season, it's not over yet.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, we already had their championship and everything. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
How come for some reason I thought it kicked off in August and went through?
No, it always starts in May. Training camp for the past couple seasons now. They started around mid-April, which was amazing because of the new field they have at James Jerome, or the old Louis Creek.
Yeah.
They got the turf out there now.
Yeah, so there's you don't
we,
have to wait
we
till
we have our training camp out there,
Yeah.
and then once it gets closer to the season, then we go to natural grass, and that way we can have a little bit earlier practices and that. Yeah, I don't want to really talk about the season.
No, it was. I know. I seen part of it where it was like one day. I know it felt like a couple years ago where they were looking. They were short. The coaches had to play, or they were forfeiting a game. I read that somewhere.
Yeah, like in 2011, which was our comeback year. We weren't on the field from 2007 to 2010.
Yeah.
It was our first year back in 4 years. No team on the field.
Yeah.
We went 2-6.
And you had the All-Star game here.
Technically, I say technically because yes, but nobody wanted to come.
Nobody won the cup.
No, nobody wanted to come.
Oh, nobody wanted to come.
Yeah,
Nobody wanted to come.
not for a lack of spectators. We're all expecting it. It was the players. And I'm not saying it's from the Sudbury players. I mean, like from other teams and everything. Like
for those people, we got have to assume that no one knows what the NFC. I mean, it's not the National Football Conference, like in the.
No, NFC is a Northern Football Conference.
Right.
They were originally they adopted that name in '67 when the Spartans changed their name as well from the Sudbury Hard Rocks. The league's been around since 1954,
and the players pretty much travel on their own dime.
Yes, it's
So
it's a amateur in the truest sense. The guys pay to play.
Yeah.
Now, of course, course, the team provides transportation. In some cases where it's a close game, then we do like a convoy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of the time, it's a bus, and then we all travel. So, but it's not like the age group is 19 and over. Over 19.
Yeah.
You have to be
Like,
you have to have more
almost.
detail on that.
Yeah.
Because the Gladiators, the
Yeah.
Sudbury Gladiators football team,
Uh-huh.
they go up to age 19. The best way I could describe it is like I'm not saying the caliber of play. I'm just saying age limit wise, they're like the Sudbury Wolves. There's an age. There's an age cutoff.
Yeah.
Then they can go off and play their own. After that, like you can come back and play. You can play for the Spartans. You go off and play CIS, which is Canadian. It's university play.
Yeah.
Or CFL. Usually, don't really go to CFL from. I'm not saying from Sudbury, but you go to CFL
From university.
from university. And we've had a few from this town. We've had 3 guys. They're probably still in Sudbury too. They all played for the Ticats at different times, obviously. And they all got a Grey Cup.
Yeah. Because I know Dirks.
Yep.
He lives in Sudbury.
Yep.
Mike Dirks. And he's got a Grey Cup ring.
Yeah, he's one of them.
He's a teacher, coach, football coach in LaSalle.
Yeah.
So I know him through basketball. His daughter played club ball with my daughter. He's the only one that I know that lives in Sudbury.
Frank Rocca.
Okay, yeah, I recognize that name.
He's he played. He was mostly a long snapper, special teams. But yeah, he won a Grey Cup with the Ticats as well as Dave Sauve.
Okay.
He doesn't live in Sudbury right now, I don't think. But again, Hamilton Ticats. And at one point, he was involved with that organization too. He ended up as team president at one point. And this was after our 50th anniversary. So, about 10 years ago, we had our 50th anniversary at the university, and they actually took a picture because we actually got the Grey Cup here in Sudbury for that event alone. You know.
Is there sponsors for this league? Like,
Yeah.
Is it sponsored?
Yeah.
So it
like,
must be
it's
easier.
all, but it's all team by team. You know, the league. There's always talk of league sponsorships, but at meetings they always tend to shoot it down. Like they wanted to do a league-wide 5th quarter, which if nobody really knows what the 5th quarter is, it's like the 4th period. It's an extra. Not the overtime. It's the time you spend with these like social. You spend with the team, stuff like that. Hockey has the 4th period. Football has the 5th quarter.
So you're talking about like
social.
talking to people.
Yeah, you
about
go
the game.
to a restaurant, whatever, and
Okay.
you eat and stuff like that, and it's like a social type of thing.
Okay, I thought you were
And
talking
that's
more
what they
like talking to the media
No,
and
no,
like
no,
sitting
no.
down and whatever.
and what they want to do is some of the guys they bring up a league-wide 5th quarter sponsor, like Boston Pizza or
Yeah.
MIC. Like MIC is only in a few cities, but Boston Pizza's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. So they tend to shoot stuff down like that because they want the teams to do their own thing. You know, so
That I can understand why they might want to do that, but it makes more sense to go in the other direction. It makes sense to have a little bit of incentive for the players.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't have enough incentive playing. I mean, they're paying
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
Right? But you want to give them a little bit of incentive.
No, yeah, because a lot of the times too, it's more of a you plan your 5th quarter social because you get income from not income, but you get proceeds from the 5th quarter as well. So you get the other team come up and they support you, and then you do the same thing. You know, but with the size of this league is, it would be like the next season that you're lucky enough. Like this year, we were lucky enough to play We had a home series against Ottawa. We visited their fifth quarter. They came to ours. It's the same thing with the Sioux. We played them with the rejuggling of the schedule at the last minute because one of the teams had dropped out. We ended up playing the Sioux early. We played them there. And the original schedule was we were going to only play the Sioux at the end of the schedule here. So we kept it anyway. So they came to our social anyway, and that was like our closest game. We lost that one like 14-12, and that's all the scoring came in the first half. You know, and that was the first game we scored first.
So you guys are pretty much hoping that more kids are going to play for the Gladiators, so that they can make the jump to the Spartans, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like their farm team-ish.
In a way, yes. Like, if the guys decide to, if they don't go to university or colleges, or they do, but there's no football program, you know, some of them do get scholarships for football and that too. It's very rare, but they are out there, you know, and
damn it,
that's long distance.
That is.
Sounds long distance.
It's not important though. Yeah, phone died. The other one's still ringing. But the one thing that's always surprised me is we have a pretty big university here.
Yeah.
Like a big university. It's not like
they just open up a new residence.
Yeah. So why isn't there? You're gonna hate this question. We got a new field right down the road. Why they have soccer teams? They have everything else. The one thing they don't have is a football team.
There's no rivalry up here.
But they still play everyone else in
I know.
OUA, right?
Yeah. But all of the games, all the teams they would play down south.
I know, but the same thing happens for the Lady V's and the V's.
They
For soccer.
They play Nipissing. They play Sioux. Nipissing has. Here's the thing now. Nipissing University. They've been starting to come up with more teams, more sports, as it were, in their university. And what I found funny is that 12 years ago was the last time the university had a hockey team. Now, in the last couple months, they've announced that they're adding hockey to the LU is adding hockey.
Oh, okay, they're adding hockey.
They're adding hockey, bringing it back. And not only are they bringing back hockey, they're updating it. They're getting a women's team as well.
I thought by updating you meant they're going to buy new equipment.
No. Obviously they are. And they've already got a coach for the men's team. They're still looking for their women's team coach and that.
Right.
But Nipissing, I was involved with university hockey here as well. So like with my dad and everything. And they'd always travel down south because there's no northern universities, let alone with their own team for that sport. Since the hockey visa has been out, Nipissing's got one, I think Sioux's got one too, and it's like Sudbury's got to have a team. And then there was a few years ago there was talk of bringing football to Sudbury for the university. It's too much. It's financially, it's more to run a football team at university level than it is for hockey. Hockey, you're playing 2 games a weekend, and
football, you're doing 1 game a week.
1 game a week, and it's all outdoors too, right? Whereas hockey, it's all indoors, and they need a field. But with this town, with the new field and everything, the only trouble with James Jerome, which I'm saying all this because I do not represent anybody. This is my own views on this. I have to say this is the disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Spartans, this past season we played down at Queens Queens Athletic Field.
Yeah.
If you know where that is, it's downtown. It's it's been the Spartans' home for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
We did have one game out at James Jerome in 2011, our home opener, because Queens Field wasn't ready yet. It was terrible, to be quite honest. Like, I'm not saying the gameplay was.
Yeah.
I'm taking it from the spectator's view. The height of the last, the stands.
Yeah.
So the back end of the stands are no taller than the fence behind it. There's no levitation on it. Like at Queens, there's the height of a person.
Before you get to the first.
Yeah, you gotta go upstairs to
Yeah.
get to the stands and everything, and so it's up higher, and there's more.
Yeah.
It's probably about three times more seating.
Oh yeah.
For like benches wise, like.
Do you want to get into concessions?
Hey.
You can't eat at James.
Oh,
James
they no.
Jerome either.
Oh.
Did they change it?
They put up posts, like a fence post, not wire fencing, like you'd get at a. Anyway, you gotta see it because they put them up there so people can drink.
Oh.
And eat food, whatever. It's for their protection. They said. I have another girl, one of my coworkers at theater. Her boyfriend played Gladiators, and they went to support the team there this year. And those things look dangerous. It's like, what do you mean? It's like they're metal poles that look like a fence type of thing. If somebody runs off the field into that, it's like that's a good point.
Yeah.
The stands have to be like away from the field. Like that's why Queens is such a good place to play.
Yeah, and the bleachers pretty much go I wouldn't say all the way, but they're pretty much the whole length of the field.
Yeah, like they've got enough benches.
But at James Jerome, there's only two, from what I remember when we drove by, or one set of bleachers, which doesn't cover.
No. You're looking at the other field.
I thought it was
The turf one, they've got lots of stands.
Yeah.
They only go from maybe the 20 to the 20.
Okay.
Type of thing.
So it almost covers the whole.
Yeah. But they're only about 5 benches up, and maybe 6. But they go right from oh, okay, I don't have to go up there. I'll just sit right here. But because of the crown of the field, which all football fields have a crown, it's like a curvature to it.
So the water runs off.
Yeah, and if you're sitting right in the front row, you're lucky to see half a player on the other side of the field because of that. And it sucks for being a statistician, taking stats. You got to know exactly who you're looking for, but you can't because you're at eye level with them. You got to be more up on an angle type of thing.
You need an overhead camera.
Yeah. So what they do when they're having games, whoever has games at James Jerome, they get like a cherry picker or something like that, like a lift, a hydraulic lift, and they put them up there, and sometimes it's in the end zone or behind the benches or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a smart idea, Whereas at Queens, because I say I've been with the team for so long, back in the early '90s, I would videotape the games for the coaches. I'd go up
Video camera on your shoulder.
Yeah, big VHS. Yeah, but I'd stay away from the stands.
Yeah.
I'd go up on the hill off to the side. I get more dialogue from the people watching through the fence. But it's on an angle too, eh? So it's like, but yeah, like with the university for football, they've had a team.
I think it's something they'll revisit. I'm just saying.
The last time they had a team was 1974.
It's well before.
73, 72. But they played in the NFC, and before that they were in the OUA. So, but they couldn't compete with the other teams, so they decided to keep the team, but be with the the football conference.
How long did that go for?
2 seasons.
2.
Yeah.
Did it go well for them?
No.
Because I find, even though it's amateur football, there's a sort of brotherhood, and they take it very seriously.
If you're on the field and before the game, it's serious. Once that last buzzer goes for the end of game, it's, hey, how's it going? Yeah, good game. So, and they're all buddy, and it's awesome. This
But
league,
what I
so.
meant about it is that if you're Laurentian University, you're playing in the Northern Football Conference, you're not. I mean, they're obviously you're still friendly, but everyone's
No.
like.
No,
Everyone's like,
it
let's
was,
show these university boys how to play football,
They do,
right?
but it was worse than that, especially if you come from the same city.
Yeah.
From the same city, no. There was a lot of rivalry, yes, but no brotherhood.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have been very hard for Laurentian to be able to justify
Yeah.
it because it would be hard.
It's just like back in the 80s and 70s and that, because North Bay had a flourishing team right to the mid 80s. And same with the Sioux, they had a team as well back then too, and of course cities down south as well. The coach at the time, he said, "You play your hardest, stuff like that. They lose a game down south. He's quiet because you lost. But and the trip back, not so bad. It's a trip back from the south. But to lose to North Bay in North Bay, it was the ride back was like longer than coming from a southern team loss, because it was North Bay. You're losing to, like you're in the north. It's like more of a rivalry.
Yeah.
When you're like closer to home, type of thing.
It's almost on comparison to when North Bay had a hockey team.
Yeah.
And in the OHL, and what were they called? The Nuggets?
No. Centennials.
Oh, Centennials. Yeah. I don't know why I said Nuggets, but whatever. The Centennials, and I remember the Wolves going there and playing, and if they lost, it was really dreary. Like if they lose to the Sioux, you don't hear it as much.
Yeah.
But when they
North
lost
Bay,
to North Bay,
yeah.
it was big. Or if they lose at home on a Friday night, and then I thought about it, like this team, like the Sudbury Wolves, it would be good for people to be behind teams like the Gladiators and Spartans the way that they're behind the Wolves. If you had a crowd of 4,000 people show up and cheer for the Spartans,
Oh yeah.
not only are they going to play like everything is on the line, it's just going to be an awesome atmosphere to be in.
No, yeah. They say, oh, we have
fans.
We got fans. We got to put on a show. We got to
Yeah.
win some games and stuff like that. Yeah. Like back in the 70s and 80s, that's where they was. The city was behind the team. And then now it's, where's the city? Okay.
They're at a Wolves game again.
It's like, my mom and dad are here, type of thing, like, yeah, it's the way it is. And the thing that is too, for a lot of years too, the Spartans were hard up on coaching staff, and so former players would come out, like we got good.
Yeah, you
got some good coaches.
We had a guy who was a quarterback and he was coaching the team like 3 years ago, eh?
2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago?
Yeah, Paul Gauthier.
Yeah, Paul Gauthier.
He's coach at College Notre Dame. Notre Dame MLS.
Oh, for the football team.
Yeah, for high school in town.
Yeah.
And but he was our quarterback for like the better part of the 80s. And he came out a few years. Like a lot of these guys don't want to. They've gone on with their lives. They played football. They want to go off, type of thing. Especially after '94. '94 was a tough year. The Spartans took. We made it all the way to the championship. Lost to Oakville, which was their second championship in a row. Which before that, we had 2 championships. And actually, this year is the 20th anniversary of our last championship. And but the beginning of the season to, I call, the end of the football season in Sudbury. Because end of the football season in Sudbury is the high school football championship. But what happened, it happened almost like the week before the championships were going to happen. Beginning of the season, my dad, been a trainer he was a trainer for the Wolves back in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But he's always been the trainer for Spartans since like 1965. Well, we always travel with the team, and by traveling with the team, I mean like they're on the bus, we're in our van, type of thing. You know, like so. I go with my dad, and my sister come with us too, and we take our time going down there. But we always tend to beat the team down to the field what we're getting to anyway. So this one particular season, my dad wasn't feeling good. First game we were playing in Brampton. It was first weekend in June, and so yeah, Sid Forster was their head coach. He said, "Coach, you can go on the bus." Yeah. So we go down to the game. And my brother and I were thinking, like, we weren't really thinking much about Dad, right? So we get down there and get through the game, and Bill and I Sid asked us to. He came over and sat with us at the fifth quarter and told us what happened. And my dad had a heart attack.
That was 94.
1994.
Right.
June 94. But he waited till after. He knew before the game, though. But he waited till after the game to tell us. Type of thing. So, because my mom and Sid's wife, best friends. Well, put it this way. My dad and Sid, I called him Uncle Sid. My dad didn't have any brothers growing up. He made friends with Sid right from like 54 or 50, 1952,
Yeah,
54.
so they're like brothers.
Yeah, they're like brothers pretty much. Like he was best man at my dad's wedding. Like literally, like I got the picture at home, and my mom, she was cleaning up and everything. She found her marriage certificate, and there's a signature right there. It's like that's cool.
That is cool.
You know, so the entire season it was sort of like a season for my dad. We went all the way to championship, but lost. You know, and then of course, with the NFC season, Spartan season ending in August, then the guys, the players, a lot of them are coaches for high school.
Right.
And same with Sid. He helps out with. He was a coach at Lockerbie.
Okay.
And this was at a time when we had probably maybe 5 teams, maybe 6 teams in high school. You know, we got St. Charles, Notre Dame, LaSalle, Lockerbie, and Llewellyn.
Right.
Okay. Now since then, there's more. There's probably about 10 teams now.
Yeah.
You know, but 94. Okay. Go into the season, and that was actually the first season for the Joe Mack youth.
Right, after he had been shot.
Yeah, well, 93
the
was...
the officer...
Yeah, 93, October 93.
Joe McDonald, right?
Joe McDonald was doing a routine spot check or whatever, and...
Got shot.
Wrong place, wrong time type of thing.
Wrong gun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him.
Now, of course, the site, across the street of the site where it happened, they actually have a little reading park.
Yeah, there is, and there's the gardens
well.
In the shape of a football.
Yeah.
Like the walk around part.
Yeah,
of it.
it's really cool.
It's really nice.
If you ever get a chance to see it, go see it.
Yeah.
But it was like the next day after it happened. Sid and Phil Smith Sr. and a few of the other founding members of the guys who have formed the Joe Mack League decided to call it the Joe McDonald Youth Football League after Joe, because Joe was.
He was in football and stuff like that.
He
as
played
well.
played a couple seasons with the Spartans. He coach.
Yeah.
He was even coaching LaSalle Wildcats at the time.
Okay.
They were, I think they were a junior program, but '94 was the first season.
I remember that, like the Joe McDonald football season starting up, because it was the first time. Like I was just '94, just going into high school.
Yeah.
So you were somewhere near the end of high school.
I was in the middle.
You're in the middle, right?
Eyes rolling back, yeah.
Yeah, but it was the first time I remember seeing kids, probably like 10, 11, 12 years old of age,
Yeah.
in football pads playing football.
Yeah.
It was really kind of like heart touching, but I don't see it anymore.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing, like, they're Sudbury was needed in Sudbury.
Yeah.
We saw I've seen down south football programs for the youth and everything all over Southern Ontario. It's like, where was this? Where is this? We need this up here.
And you know what? It goes back to what you said, like when I mentioned about Laurentian, right? You said there's no... If Laurentian had a football team, they'd always have to go down south to play someone, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, like the youngest daughter was in club basketball. Okay? So, for the 4 or 5 months that she was in club basketball, they played in 5 tournaments. Each one of those tournaments, we had to travel down south in the middle of winter, which isn't fun.
No.
Going down Highway 69, 400 and all that stuff, to play kids in another tournament. They would do well. They wouldn't be as good as they wanted to be, because these teams not only had their club ball down south and play, like practice every week, and then they go to a tournament every single weekend. So where our girls are getting in maybe 27 games by the end of the club ball season, they're playing almost 100.
Yeah.
So it goes back to being the same thing. Like,
yeah, well, you see, they got more schools down south.
Yeah.
Especially in the Toronto area. And so they have more tournaments.
You're
and
literally
there's no travel
an
time
hour
down there.
away down there from anything.
Yeah.
An hour. If I live in Toronto and I want to go to a basketball tournament in Hamilton, I'm 45 minutes away.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm in Hamilton and I want to go to Niagara, I'm 45 minutes away. If I'm crazy enough and I'm in Toronto and I want to go to Niagara, I can get there in 35 minutes. So that is the problem, where we are kind of in that. People down south think we live in igloos sometimes, but and that's the thing. It's like, you live up there. It's like, it's not that far.
Yeah. See, the reason why it's called the Northern Football Conference is because there was a soup. Well, actually, the league was formed by 4 teams in the north: North Bay, Sudbury, Kirkland Lake, and Tri-Town.
Kirkland Lake doesn't even have a team anymore.
I know, neither does Timmins, but they used to.
Huh.
Rowan Duranda, they had a team in our league.
Really?
Yep.
So in Quebec?
Yeah. So, and we would, back before they changed over to the Northern Football Conference, they were the Northern Ontario Rugby Football Union.
Yeah. That's something. Remind me to go back to the rugby thing. I was kind of interested in that when you mentioned it earlier. I don't want to go back there right now, but after.
Okay. Anyway, to get back to season '94.
Yeah.
They go into the first season of Joe Mack, and of course Sid Forrester was the mind behind it and everything. As I look at it, because he's always into football in Sudbury.
Yeah.
So, of all things, like he's on the field with the team. I was down there helping out too and everything, and same with my brother, because my dad's still recuperating too and everything.
Yeah.
And it gets to the last day of Joe Mack, and they always play on Saturdays, and he had to go to the hospital right from the field. Sid Forster. He went to St. Joseph's.
Yeah.
He felt that there was something wrong, so he waited till everyone was gone, whatever, done. He went to the hospital, in I believe it was a bladder infection. I think it was. They sent them off to Memorial, which if you know the area, like
it's like literally 10 minutes away.
Yeah, it's like Lily Creek is there.
Yeah.
Yet right across the street from Laurentian University, which Laurentian Hospital.
Yeah.
At the time, that's what it was called. But he went to St. Joseph's, which is just around the corner anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but then to go to Memorial, you know, it's just up York Street and
across.
You know,
You're right there.
yeah. But apparently, from what I can remember, he passed away en route. So
within that whole season, your dad has a heart attack.
Yeah, beginning of the season.
Sid's best friend, and then at the end of the Joel Mack season, your dad's best friend passes away.
Yeah.
And what people don't know, I think if I remember correctly, Sid Forrester, right? He was like Vince Lombardi to this area, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. He coached the Spartans for almost 27 years.
Yeah.
12 championships he led us to.
And a lot of people don't realize that kind of stuff, like how much football is actually up here. Like, I mean, they don't play CFL rules?
No.
Right.
It's a combination of CFL and American. It's still a CFL field.
They play four downs.
4 downs with 12
Pretty much
players.
the same thing that the high school does.
High school plays it as well.
Yeah.
And that's the drawback to high school in Sudbury Lax is because the southern teams, they play 3 downs.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Right now...
so is this a convention that the NFC picked up a long time ago and decided to stick with it?
Stick with it, yeah.
High school is just like, everyone's doing it, so let's just... We're going to continue playing that way.
Yeah. And it's a...
and then you get to CIS, and you're like, 3 downs? Because they play CFL.
Yes, yeah. But see, the thing with it is, it's not much of a difference.
It's not.
NFC, you're just... you got more chances.
Yeah.
And you're making... You got more chances to make bigger plays, you know, like more... It's more fun to watch, you know. 3 downs, it's run, pass and complete, punt. Run, pass and complete, punt.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no, like, it's hard in a 3 down system to effectively have a run game.
Yeah.
You try once, and if that doesn't work, you're passing.
Yeah.
You're not running again because that's unconventional. Because the next play, if you haven't made your 10 yards, you're punting away the ball. You're giving away your chance.
Now, of course, unless you come across a player like Pinball or Rocket, like Toronto have, that Toronto had in the past, unless you have a smart running game, then you can do it. Like in the NFC, the number 1 team in our league was the team from Toronto. They called themselves the Titans.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until a couple years ago that they called themselves the Titans. Before it was the Mad Dogs. Then it was the Mega City Mad Dogs. Before that.
I remember that name.
And then, it was, I think that's how they came into the league, was the Mega City. Then it was the Markham Mad Dogs. I think it was Markham Raiders. Yeah, Mega City Mad Dogs. Then Toronto Mad Dogs. Then they went with Toronto Titans a couple years ago. Last year they went 8-0. They went undefeated the whole season. To lose first playoff game.
That's how it goes sometimes, though.
This year, they went undefeated. And when I say undefeated, I mean undefeated. They won a championship.
Oh, there you go.
So, their quarterback is a... You can find the name of the award on the league website, but he won 2 awards when he played for Queens. This quarterback. This is the award they give to the top-ranking quarterback.
Okay.
You know, and he won it twice.
So they have this really awesome quarterback.
Yeah, with a beer gut. He always stands shotgun. because he can't move. But
that's a hard running game if you're always in shotgun.
He's always passing. This guy?
Yeah, you'd almost have to pass. You couldn't be in the shotgun and running.
No. He's always passing it. There's a few times where I can see the formation, and it's like, that's weird. He's gonna run it. Like it's gonna be a running play, and it is. You know, but they visited us this season with a almost like an intention to, because the week before he had almost 1,000 yards passing.
That's insane.
Not even. I think it was just shy. It was almost 9. It was just over 900.
Like, just to put that in perspective for people who may be listening. Well, hopefully there's people listening. But last night, I think I was watching SportsCenter, and Anthony Calvillo, 300 yards passing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So this guy is almost doing 1,000.
Yeah.
But ironically enough, he's not good enough to play in either CFL or the NFL, and he's probably outplayed his options at the OUA, so he can't play.
Oh, he's already played.
He can't go back and play anymore because he's uneligible.
Yeah, like I said, he's won 2 of those awards.
Yeah.
You know, but came into our game wanting to pass 1,000 yards, but that was what the media put out. You know, like one of the guys from the team said that he heard something, or rather from somebody else. It's like, I got that from the player. It's like he heard it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else. It wasn't from the actual quarterback stating it, the comment, whatever. It's like, so he wanted to go over 1,000 yards, but it wasn't a comment. It was like, if he gets it, he gets it. That's the way these players are and everything.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like on my Xbox, I have an NHL season.
Yeah.
And after 25 games, my guy has 97 goals. If I can continue my scoring pace of about 3 to 4 goals a game, that would be great. And I do. But, I mean, honestly, in all my life, if I ever had a chance to throw 1,000 yards in one game, and there was another game a week after, I would want to do 1,000 yards a game.
Yeah, back to back. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Like, who's done that, right?
So what happened was that game, I think we went two or 3 games.
What was the score of that game? 1,000 yards a game. Was it over 70?
No, he didn't have 1,000 yards though.
No, but I thought you said he almost had 1,000.
He almost had 1,000 yards, but it was
close to 70.
It was. I think that game was about. They scored 54 points.
That's insane.
And obviously they won because they were undefeated this year. But the game against us, he didn't quite get 500 yards.
Quite get. It's like, yeah, we held them back, but 500 yards is still a lot.
No, but compared to everything else, you know, like, but it was, this final score was they ended up scoring 70 points, but they kept on. He wanted to get the record for passing touchdowns, which he did. It's now a new record of 10 touchdown passes.
Oh, in the
NFC.
Yeah.
Okay. So they end their season 8-0.
Yeah.
Okay. Sudbury ended their season 0-8. So guess who we're playing?
Oh, in your playoff game?
Playoff game against them.
Yeah.
I can't remember the final score now. But we held them to under 200 yards. 121 yards passing.
So it was a low score game.
That's their lowest passing yards in 2 years.
Wow. If I remember correctly, I seen in the newspaper that was a pretty low scoring game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember the score.
No, I can't remember offhand either. But our lowest scoring game in the regular season was the last game of the season, and it was the closest margin. Like we were down, we missed both our point afters.
Mm-hmm.
So we were down 2 points. And that was the final score.
Is there a commissioner of this league?
Commissioner, no, but a president, yes.
A president, yes.
Yeah.
Is how, in your opinion, by looks, how old are the people in charge of the league?
It's an old boys league.
It's an old boys league.
Yeah, they try and keep as much people from the old days as possible. Now, mind you, the president, he was the former coach of the Sioux team.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was coaching them this year. No, they had a new coach. But of the current Sioux team that is right now, like when they came in '96, they were the Sioux Storm. Then they decided to go to the old name, which is Sioux Steelers, because it is Steel Town, just like Hamilton. But decided to go back to that. So when they won their national championship, which was the first for Northern Ontario, which I can start another story on that one too. But it was when they won the league championship. It was their first one since like the '80s, and I had to like correct them, saying like it's the first one the city has seen since the '80s, because that team that's currently right there, that's a different franchise.
Yeah.
You know, because they've got 3 other championships before that. And the first one was in '72.
Yeah,
so.
it's like saying the Ottawa Senators have won the Stanley Cup before, but it's not the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, and it's and even that, to even make it even more closer to home, the Sudbury Wolves won the Memorial Cup.
They also won a World Championship.
No, you don't understand. Yeah, I know they won. Yeah, because this year, but
No. They won a World Championship. If you look up, I'm gonna look it up. They won. It's like the equivalent.
in the '30s.
Yeah.
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 But that was equivalent to the Memorial Cup. The Allen Cup.
Oh, right, because it was
yeah.
across like all of Canada.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But there wasn't. It's not like if you were to put that team into today,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be qualified
I thought I looked
because they're over 19.
I thought I looked up the Sudbury Wolves and I looked up the Sudbury Star and all I see is obituaries. I was like, what? Yeah, the Sudbury Wolves. I find it really funny. I seen some comments online, and the whole thing is the funny thing about those. I thought it says World Champs on that banner in the Sudbury Arena.
But see, the Sudbury Wolves, I can get into that one too, right? Because I've been involved with like hockey and football in Sudbury in some aspects. I always hear stories of football from my dad,
Yeah.
and hockey from my dad. But hockey also comes from my in-laws as well, which I married into. You're probably not gonna find. Anybody that's listening to this, James was looking up on Wikipedia of all things.
Yeah.
For the Sudbury Wolves.
They won a Memorial Cup in 1992. Right.
Yeah. Now, mind you, gotta remember too that this current organization came from Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I just saw that. And I was like, what? Really? I didn't know that. That was after the 70s. So.
It's a '72, yeah.
Yeah, 72.
Yeah.
They were the Niagara Falls Flyers.
But they never had a junior
but
team like
they
this
were also,
before
that, they were the Barrie Flyers.
Yeah.
How are we the Sudbury Wolves, and we hate Barrie, and we're actually Barrie?
Think about it, man. We had the coach of the Barrie Colts coach us, too.
Yeah, that too. But it was like the other day, I was watching TLC. I don't know if you watch that channel at all, anything on TLC. But anyhow, I was watching a show, and it says United States of, I forget, whatever, some family, okay? Yeah. And I said to my wife, because they have 19 kids, they're like the Duggars in every sense of the way. They're like Christian and everything, right? And I said to her, literally, this is what, you're going to get this reference, some other people might get it, maybe not. If you don't, I'll explain it. I said, did we just come across Bizarro 19 Kids and Counting? Because it was like watching 19 Kids and Counting, but totally weird, even though It's weird, right?
Just 19 kids and counting.
19 kids and counting is weird.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, this is weird compared to weird, right? And I was like, a couple weeks ago, I was like, fuck, like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, right? This makes me want to do podcasts because, you know, I like listening to them. And I very rarely, like, if I run out of podcasts, I'm like, fuck, I gotta listen to music, right? So, anyhow, I listened to a radio show in the States called K-Rock. Kevin and Bean, Ralph Garman's on it. Yep. So I don't know if you listen to that at all.
Once in a while I do, yeah.
Once in a while, yeah. It's worth listening to. I like it 5 days a week. It's good, right? And I'll listen to Adam Carolla. But anyhow, listening to Kevin and Bean, they're talking about Honey Boo Boo Child, right? And I seen the ads for it. I'm like, whoever watches this show is fucking retarded, right? And I'm like, if anyone watches this show, they should kick themselves in the nuts. So one day, there's nothing on TV except Honey Boo Boo Child. So I'm sitting here watching it, going, I should kick myself right in the nuts, man. Right square in the nuts. I'm watching it, and I'm like, they can't be that stupid. Okay, first of all, the show's funny. Like, I'm like, how is this show funny? I don't get it. Because Kevin and Bean were talking about it, and they're like doing the replays, and it sounded funny. I'm like, okay, it's funny, in a way, but it's funny because everyone's laughing at them, and they're laughing with us. Yeah. They don't know that we're laughing at them.
And not with them.
Yeah. And, like, or do they and don't care? Maybe...
I look at it as being a train wreck. That show.
I don't get it. Like...
It's a train wreck. You're driving by...
And you gotta watch it.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know what?
Distracted driving.
It's like, you just want to drive. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's like, squirrel... You know, type of thing. You know, it's like you want to know. That's why you always have to have somebody with you so they can rubberneck for you.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. It's like, so I don't bother with that show.
But it was just, I don't even know how we got on this topic, but I was 19 kids and counting, Bizarro. Oh, yeah, Sudbury Wolves, being from Barrie, we should technically hate ourselves.
But see, it's a totally different organization as well in Barrie.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
With the Barrie Colts. They have a different organization too. So, the Barrie to Niagara Falls, that was a move.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls to Sudbury, that was a sale. So it's okay to hate Barrie.
Yeah, it's all right. It was funny a couple months ago during the playoffs, the hockey playoffs, I should say. So if a Canadian, this is another podcast moment. If a Canadian says the playoffs, it's automatically assumed that it's hockey. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Okay, so I'm watching the playoffs, and on Saturday night after the game, the second part of Don Cherry's Stories on.
Yeah.
Forget what they called it, right? Grapes. Oh, I forget. Anyhow, I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, this actor's doing a really good job of like speaking in the mannerism of Don Cherry. I didn't know Dave Hodge was a dildo. I did not know that until that moment, and I was like, ever since then, I'm like, I hate you, Dave Hodge. Okay, and then I seen, was it Dave Hodge? Dave Hodge did something to Don Cherry, but then there was the other guy. Who's the other guy? Brent, the guy who used to work for CBC, and then he's working with the consortium there. Brian
Williams?
Brian Williams. Yeah, I didn't know. That's what I meant the first time. I didn't know Brian Williams was a dildo.
Oh, my dad's always known that.
I did not know that. I did not know that. And I'm like, now I hate Brian Williams. Okay, and I'm Canadian. We should love everyone. But anyhow, I'm watching the story, and it's like, and he's just kind of going through the story. I played in Sudbury for. I'm like, what? Don Cherry played in Sudbury?
He didn't.
And then I was like, looking, and he did play.
He played against Sudbury.
No, but he played for Sudbury.
Oh yeah.
He played for the Sudbury Wolves.
Yeah, before he went to Rochester, I think it was.
Yeah, before this 45.
No, yeah, there's the OUA. There are, like, that's the current.
Like, he didn't play. Yeah, he didn't play in the OHL.
Even that there.
He didn't play in the OHA. I think he played in that one.
No.
No.
It was a. I believe it was a farm system. Like almost like the AHL is today.
He was born in 34.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll find it. I love Don Cherry. I mean, he says stuff sometimes. It's controversial.
I like
but
him.
It's
He doesn't he's got no filter,
Yeah.
which I love. You know.
So he played for the Barrie Flyers in the OHA.
Yeah, but you
Sudbury
see.
Wolves in the Sudbury Wolves in the EPHL.
And what year is that?
That is 61-62.
Yeah. So that's before the OHL.
Yeah.
So that there is EPA. What's
EPHL. I don't know what that is.
Look it up.
Must be East Coast Professional Hockey League.
No, it wouldn't be East Coast, would it?
No.
There's a link right there,
Where?
right above it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Eastern.
Eastern Professional Hockey League.
Yeah.
So that would be, I bet you, back in the day, that league is similar to what Spartans would be in. Let's bring it all back.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
Yeah, like I was saying too before, it's like the Gladiators would be what the Wolves are,
Yeah.
you know, age-wise, and the Spartans would be like NHL, like the NHL. But, you know,
And do you remember how we got on the topic of all this stuff? Documentary. So you're working on documentary.
Yes. Which, there you go. There's my documentary. I'll just like put photos to this podcast, and we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you doing the high school aspect of?
Yeah, I'm gonna
football?
try and do as much as possible. Like I tell a lot of people some of these stories too. How involved in football I was, where I would hit high school, and my computer class had one teacher, and I lift my hand. I say, Dave, Mr. Sainamore. You know, like I call them by their first name. I knew them before they went to teachers college or whatever, before they became professionals. Like the what's the chief of police? Is that what it's called in Sudbury?
Yeah.
Constable, the
No,
head
chief
guy
of police,
for
chief
Sudbury
of police.
Regional.
Yeah.
Okay, well the deputy, which is like second command type of thing.
Yeah, he's the guy who takes over in case Commissioner Gordon can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in Sudbury it's Al Kuhn, former Spartan. You know, so and you know like these guys like Dirks, Sainamore, Paul Gauthier.
I don't think Dirks isn't originally from Sudbury though. Is he?
No. Back in '91, he did help coach the Spartans, so that's how he's involved with the Spartans.
Okay.
He was the O-line coach. There's a picture online on his Facebook too, and some of the other guys too that were in that line. That was like one of the best teams we had was '91, '92 as well, but '91 it was really the genius behind it. You know, like those 2 seasons were the only 2 seasons since playing at Queen's Athletic Field. Those are the only 2 seasons that we played at Cambrian College. A lot of people don't know that we had our last 2 championships were played at Cambrian College.
I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah, and now you know. And so we came back to Queen's Field, and
So why don't you guys play at Cambridge College more often? I mean, that's a pretty nice.
it is.
It's more centrally located to the newer.
It's good for parking. It's good for. It was a good facility at the time, but dressing room wise, no.
Oh, there's no
We give the visiting team the actual clubhouse itself, and then we would be dressing in the actual gymnasium area. So we'd have to come across the parking lot and everything. And this was before they built that center there that they have currently right there.
before the Laminin Center.
Yeah.
And then before the new, whatever they call it now, there's a new student activity center.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So before all that there. And now you can't play football there now because they've taken down the uprights.
Yeah, it's just a soccer field.
Yeah, so they just have soccer there now. Now, for the past, I think, 4 or 5 years, I can't remember. Probably before the Canadian Cancer Society held their annual Relay for Life there.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Plenty of parking.
Oh, yeah.
Like parking on one side, like right there by the field. You have parking in the paid parking
Because they
area
used
as
to
well.
do that at
It's like-
Laurentian.
yeah.
And there's not very much parking there.
The last time they had it there, they had it cut short. They were an hour into it.
Really?
It was like monsoon rain.
That's insane.
Like it was coming down like harsh.
That's insane.
Yeah. So.
But it would be good if I remember. I think it was '96. It was either '95 or '96. LaSalle Lancers won the city championship.
Yep.
And they played at Cameron College.
Yeah.
That was the field that they played.
Yeah. The field of choice a lot of the times is Cambrian.
Yeah.
Because it's gated, and you can get revenue from that.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing.
But now they're playing pretty much all those games at
James Jerome. Yeah.
Like most of the season games.
Oh yeah. They want to get as much out of it as possible.
Yeah.
You know. And
Well, because then it's not such a we spent all this money just for the Ontario games.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So and the fact that they got a scoreboard there too. You know.
They want to dome it up. I heard.
No.
Maybe
There was talk of it.
Yeah.
They wanted to do that, and even in my little world, as it were, like my mind, terrible idea. You just built it. Why would you build a dome over top of a field that can be used all year round? Outside, it's a turf field. It's supposed to be used all year round. Why dome it up?
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna dome something up, start fresh from something else.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and do a soccer field and everything, but you can't dome up something that, well, the whole reason of having it there is so that people are driving on the highway, they see it. You know? It's like you have a dome over top of it, it's like you don't know what's going on in there. It's like like anything else. If anything in the city, I've always said, it needs a football stadium. And not in the sense of like BMO Field or like a Sky Dome or something like that. You need, if you ever watch movies like Friday Night Lights, like a high school, like in the States, they have high school football stadiums. And it's like
those stadiums hold a lot of people too.
Yeah, and it's ideal because the stadiums it's almost like at the university, the track out there, where the stadium, the dressing rooms are underneath it. So it's a dual purpose type of thing instead of having stands on one side and dressing rooms on the other side, which, again, these are just my opinions. You know, I'm trying to do a disclaimer again. The clubhouse at Queens is too small.
You try to fit 50 guys in there or so.
Yeah, try.
Yeah.
You know,
especially if they're on.
Back in the day, we had the entire facility was ours. Like it was like opened up and everything. Now it's not because of the tennis in the back. You know, and now they've even like capped it off, where the only time you can get to the tennis thing, you have to go physically around the building. And now they've added a washroom. It's like it's not even big enough. Like, to be honest, like
I remember going to Queens Athletic Field when I was a kid in like the winter.
Yeah.
Going skating.
Yeah.
Right? Which they still do.
Yeah.
But I remember going into these big change rooms and wondering why they were there. I had no idea. I didn't put two and two together. I was a special kid, So
you're a special kid, yes.
Yeah. But you know, they seemed pretty big at the time, and I can imagine how big they're not now. It's like everything else, right?
Yeah. Like back in the day, always, you know.
You're starting to sound old now.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know this, but currently, yes, you do have to pay registration fees to play for the Spartans.
Yep.
You do also have to for the Gladiators as well. You know, there was a time in this city where the Spartans, you can go out and play for the Spartans. No worries about any kind of fees or whatever. You know?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. So we would get 50, 60 guys playing for us. So playing down at Queens, we have there's two main dressing rooms. Well, two dressing rooms, pretty much. One for the visiting team, one for the home team. But because we would have like 50, 60 guys, they were overlap, and they would change, go right into like in the washroom upstairs as well. And that whole upstairs area was ours as well, like for the training staff and everything, for taping ankles and everything. Now it's like paying people to. The guys are paying to play.
Yeah.
And not a lot of guys come out because of that. Because there is other commitments. Like back in the day, it's like, that's going to be my new catchphrase.
Back in the day?
Back in the day.
Yeah.
If I start my own podcast, it's going to be called that.
Back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day. But guys would be coming out and the coach would tell them, okay, football should be third with you. You know, for commitment wise. Family first, school or work second, then football.
Yeah.
If you skip out on a practice or skip out on a game because you're going camping with your friends, you're off the team. You know, type of thing. Like, there's no really excuse for that because that's like, you can do that on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing, or, you know, you have any other time to do that. But obviously, if it's a family crisis, or you're scheduled to work, and like a lot of the guys, further back, the team was formed by.
Is further back further than back in the day?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in my dad's day, was the word. A lot of the guys were employees of Inco or Falconbridge. So we had to, like, they come home and they just go out and play. You know, like when the league and the team were started, it was fall football. Like, they would be starting on Monday. And of course, I don't know when you're putting up this podcast, but Labor Day is Monday. That was the first game of this league, was Labor Day. And of course, you know what two teams played? Sudbury and North Bay.
Well, you always started off with the rivalry, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
In the NHL, first game for the Leafs this year, if they get there, is against Habs.
Yeah.
So, or it would be against Ottawa, or I don't know if Tampa Bay plays Florida right off the bat, but I don't know who their main competition is.
Trust me, it's not Florida.
It's not Florida.
But yeah, there's always like whoever your longtime rival is, especially with the original 6 teams.
Just like, you know who's in the CFL this weekend. You can probably go right off the top of your head right now. Labor Day weekends, Labor Day rivalries.
Toronto
Who's
and
playing who? Who's playing who?
Toronto and Hamilton play Monday. Always.
Winnipeg and Edmonton.
Yeah.
Right? Or is it going to be Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, sorry, the Banjo Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the Battle of Alberta.
The Battle of Alberta.
Yeah.
Right?
And the BC and Montreal have already played. They played last night.
Yeah. So that's already done.
Yeah.
So they got the Banjo Bowl on Monday.
Yeah.
And last season, I have it somewhere, a video somewhere on my computer. I have a video of, I think it's a Hamilton player who scored. And the camera, TSN, is right on him. No delay, no whatever. He just made an awesome play. He's got his helmet off. Maybe it was even the playoffs. I don't even remember. Not the NHL playoffs, but the CFL playoffs.
Yeah.
And right in front of the camera, he's like, "Fuck yeah!" And I have it somewhere. I'll show you the video after I have it. I was like, yeah, it's either one of the Argo players or one of the Hamilton players. It was like, "Fuck yeah!" Right? And it's like, yeah, we're sorry for language that was used, and I was like, PVR, rewind, record. I was like, yeah. Back in the day, you would have been like, call your friends. Oh, I was just watching the game, and it's fuck yeah, cool man. Well, there was no like recording. It's like you never see it again.
No,
because you're not going to see it on TV. Now it's like rewind 20 seconds, and it's right there for me to see. They should work on a delay. So getting back to this rugby thing. So I didn't know this. You said Canadian football is a derivative of rugby.
Now, of course, it is a football is the bastard child of rugby. Now, they played what you know of football now.
Mm-hmm.
Even back then, it was played like that. There was no forward passes. It was always just like rugby. But they would line up the same way, like you see today.
Mm-hmm.
And they would still call it rugby, but it was North American rugby. It wasn't until like the 50s and 60s I believe, where they started calling it football.
Yeah, which is really a bane of some of our European friends who say it's not football.
No, because in Europe, you gotta get past that too, because it's North America that calls it soccer.
Right.
You know, but not even that. It's just the top 2 countries in North America that call it soccer. Because even Mexico, they call it football. Because they have soccer down there as well, and in South America as well. So like, you know, like it's called football because you use your foot.
Right.
You know,
that's
for a
reason.
reason.
That's the biggest thing. Like, why did they call American football football? It's like, there's no explanation for this.
Yeah.
There's none.
No.
But for the rugby thing, have you been? I haven't seen any on TV, but the other day I was like flipping through some of the stuff on Paralympics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wheelchair rugby?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, doesn't this sound like the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
You can't get paralyzed because you're already paralyzed, and you still can smash into each other.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know how they play it. I haven't checked it up yet. I haven't been, you know. But I thought it was just like the coolest sport ever. It's like you're not gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Like last year was the Rugby World Cup, and it was in
New Zealand.
Australia.
That was New Zealand.
No, you're right. Yeah, New Zealand. That's right. Yeah,
won it.
Yeah, well, yeah, the All Blacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it's like, I gotta watch this, you know, type of thing. And I watched every Canadian game.
Yeah, you know what? I
live.
didn't watch any of the Canadian games. I was like, because it was too early in the morning. Not too early in the morning, but it was just
Too late at night.
It was
whichever.
too late at night.
It was
Yeah,
either
yeah.
one or the other.
But one morning I was up. I think it was the championship game because that's how I know New Zealand won.
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching it. I'm like, this is so cool, man. This is a cool sport.
Yeah.
Like, I knew of it before, and like you'd see the replays of the funny guys with hats doing the football,
Yeah.
the American football
Yeah.
touchdown signal for a kick, for a ball that's kicked.
Yeah, they still have uprights, but they go like freaking like almost like 10 times higher.
Yeah. So I remember seeing it back then and going, oh, this is funny, but not looking at the actual what they do.
Yeah.
And how dangerous it actually is.
Oh yeah.
And how big these guys are. Like some of these guys, when we were talking about some of the coaches from before, like Mike Dirks, he's about 6'6". He's a big guy. Some of these guys make him small.
Yeah, yeah. And they're not as tall as him.
No.
That's the thing too, you know.
Yeah. So, I gotta take this call, so I'm gonna go break right now. 1 second. Okay, so the good thing about this program, I can pause.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, we're
Just
back.
like that. Just like that. We've been going pretty good. An hour and 22 minutes. Pretty good.
Forever.
Just telling you about the Spartans. So, you're obviously still working with the Spartans as in some form.
Yeah, I'm the
statistician.
I'm a statistician, and I run the website.
But
I've been running the website for about 15 years.
Yeah.
For the first portion of
That's
it.
when the internet was like invented.
Well,
15 years.
Well, but more than that.
Almost.
But yeah, like I took over because I noticed that the first season we had it, which we were the first team to have a website. Usually the seasons go about 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks.
Yeah.
The most I've seen it is a 10-game season type of thing, like regular season type of thing. And on top of that, playoffs, you know. And so that school year, or the fall, I check it out and, oh yeah, hey, the Spartans have a website. I gotta check it out. Yeah, it was updated till week 6. So I went to our president and asked him would it be okay if I take over reins for the website. At the time, it was donated to us.
Yeah.
And we would have to, or from what I did was, I would design it, do all the updates and everything, and physically bring it to somebody at the company that's doing it, who was doing it for us, which at the time was Cyber Submarine. And I'd give them the update.
Yeah.
They'd update it right there for me, like As in, like, yeah, come on in. I go to his office, plug it in, give him my disc back, and we're all set. You know, type of thing. It got to a point where it evolved.
The data was too big for a floppy drive?
Yeah, so I'd go and zip it onto a floppy drive.
Onto
you know,
floppy drives?
No, onto one, you know.
Yeah.
But it was just small ones anyway, you know.
Speaking of WinZip,
yeah.
back in the day, you
Hey!
could fucking WinZip anything onto
You owe me
a
$1.
disk.
You owe me $1 for saying back in the day now.
Yeah, right. You could WinZip anything into a small compression.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the fucking way, since 10 years ago, you zip something and it's slightly smaller than what it is now.
It is, yeah.
And it's like, what's the point of zipping something if it doesn't shrink?
Yeah.
The whole point of zipping something back in the year was so that it shrunk so it fit onto a floppy drive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that anymore.
No. Does anybody have floppy drives anymore? Yeah, I know you do.
No.
No?
No, I don't. No, wait.
I think-
There is one on
yeah,
here.
there is one, yeah.
Oh, damn it. No, my dad gave me this computer, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of them now have USB, front USBs, so you can have
Yeah.
flash drives.
Right there.
And flash drives are like, the smallest now are like 4 gigs.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And it's like you can get up to 32,
Yeah.
you know? And now they're getting very inexpensive. Now you can get like a 16 gig for like $10.
Yeah.
It's like, you just gotta know where to go.
But I'm just saying,
You know?
yesteryear, you could...
I'm gonna copyright every variation on that.
Yesteryear, you could WinZip something and it would be incredibly small.
Like 10 times as small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere they lost it.
Yeah.
I don't like it anymore.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so I took over, and it evolved into something where the other teams in the league were doing it too, and that was probably about within 5 years of me running it. I probably won about 7 or 8 web awards for it. But also, then other teams started the Sioux had a website, and that was when Angel Fire came out, GeoCities, and all these other
Everyone's like, what are you talking about?
no, like
I know.
because on a website you can build your own website
Yeah.
online type of thing, you know, like this is before GoDaddy and everything, and so okay, so what? We were here first.
Yeah.
Keep on going. I don't mind bringing the stuff. They didn't want to give me the passwords because it's a company, you know,
Right.
like it's their company and everything. And it was just they weren't charging us. It was like almost like a donation type of thing, and so you know I'll do all the work, you know, type of thing. And I don't mind doing that because I've been with the team since I could walk, you know. So and then we ended up having a change of executive, and they decided to go with a .com. So
Now you have to register everything.
no, they did all the work on that, and I showed up at a meeting one time, and because they invited me to come to the meeting that they were having and everything, and they had a piece of paper. Here you go, OJ. I hope this helps out. They handed me a piece of paper, and it's like SubwaySpartans.com and a password. What's this? It's like, it's Subway Spartans' new website for you. It's like,
Really? I have the keys?
and it's like, oh, it's like the heavens opened up and everything. So I went like gangbusters on it, you know,
Yeah.
type of thing. And for about 5 years, we were like the website in the league. Like I would get ideas from like not just like NFL and CFL sites, like ideas like that. I still do, but also NHL, MLB, like any kind of sports website. I'll even go to something else like an entertainment website as well, you know, type of thing. But I always made it so that it was current, and the guys would be able to like navigate it without clicking on like a link that says site map.
Why does it go up at CA now?
Now, here's the thing. Now, we had something come across where it went, it overlapped. We had nobody was doing the payments on it, type of thing, because they weren't involved anymore, and it was going to them. So the .com went into, as it were, limbo. Somebody else owns it now. Some company owns it now, and
Which is probably some person in the Philippines.
probably. And so if I was to auction on it, it'd be like 70 grand. You know, type of thing. So we decided, as the new executive, I've taken over, like, because it was happening with, when we took our leave of absence. I got the ball rolling of getting, it's like we gotta save this team, type of thing. And this was the 2007 season, and gotta get the ball rolling because I'm getting advice from the guys down south. You gotta put in a league, leave a year of absence type of thing. So I went on the Facebook and got as many people as I could to hear me out, type of thing. And we had a meeting. Okay, and during that season we had took over a .ca, which is currently right now the SubbySpartans.ca, which is perfect because all of our content is Canadian anyway. Now, of course, over the years we've changed it and everything, and now we're into the social media as well. We got the Twitter account on there, links to our Facebook page as well. And if you were to, because people, I don't think people know this, but James has an old school monitor.
Yeah.
Where's the tube?
Well, I'm gonna put one of these on my monitor. Donate tab.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at the league. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams.
No, 8.
Okay, there's 8.
Because that's the logo for the NFC.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay.
And
so
that's from this season.
okay. Wait. That right now. Okay.
Yeah.
There's 8 teams.
How many teams in the CFL?
Okay, there's 8. Okay, but listen. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 logos out of the 4 teams that are non-unique in any way, shape, or form.
Really?
Yeah.
And none of that is the Raiders? It's a slight variation of the Raiders.
No, look, that one there.
It's got the swords in it, yeah.
No, that one there. Okay, well, yeah.
It's the Raiders.
It is. I didn't know.
But it is a slight variation.
It is a slight variation.
Now the
the
Titans one is a slight variation too, because you can't really, if you look very closely,
it's not.
There's a
The
line
aren't going this way.
No. There's a line going through the center.
Yeah.
If you look closely, see it right there.
Yeah. No,
now, of course, we're on a podcast and we're looking at pictures.
Yeah.
So
but it's exactly the same, almost the same, except for a little. Someone took some paint and said, "Let's take the Tennessee Titans logo and add a couple maple leaves."
It was bad last year, or when they were the Mad Dogs, because it was the same logo, but without the T, and it was like a picture of a Mad Dog in the center.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So I see the Minnesota Twins.
Twin Cities, yeah.
The Twin Cities. I see the old, but reversed, like as if you're looking at Bizarro, Los Angeles Kings logo.
Yeah.
And then I see the Texas Longhorns logo. And then there's a couple other ones that seem like they're pulled off of NHL 98 teams. You can make fake ones.
What's that?
This one. Here.
That's the Invaders.
The Invaders. They look.
All it is an eye.
Yeah,
so
but it is unique. This S actually, as well.
No, the S is just an S. It just says Steelers across it. Now, if you
know.
scroll down the screen there, you'll see that our last regular. It's not even their logo.
Okay.
It's a variation of it.
Yeah. This S looks a little bit different, and it almost looks like the logo for one of the universities in the States.
Would you like to know what the Steelers logo used to be back in the 70s?
What was it?
It was Pittsburgh's.
Yeah. So, the only unique logo I see, really, now, is just Sudbury Spartans.
Yeah, and everyone knows it, too, you know. Now, you go to, if you were to click on the, or just scroll over the stats thing.
So, right now, for the listeners, we're at SudburySpartans.ca, so if you want to look.
Yeah.
Over the stats.
No, just on the top menu there.
Yeah.
No, not down there.
That's up there.
Yeah, but right in
What?
the middle, above the scores. See the main
above the
menus?
scores, yeah.
See how they drop down?
Yeah.
Okay, go over to stats. Right there, and go down to all-time standings. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the list of all the teams that ever played in this league.
Oh, okay.
You know, and the ones with the asterisks and the in bold are the ones from this season that played.
The North Bay Northmen.
They were.
That sounds.
I know, but they were also the North Bay Rough Riders and North Bay Ticats as well.
Bulldogs, I see there as well.
No, Bulldogs is the current rendition of them.
They're not in bold.
No, because they quit a week of the first game last 2 seasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Not enough players, or? Yeah.
Not enough commitment. I'm not saying not enough players. It's not enough commitment because we had 2 of their players play for us this year.
Valdor Jets.
Now, people don't know this either. The Sudbury Spartans, the league that they play in, the championship, the champions from our league, they play for a national championship against the Alberta Football League.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And which is played in September. So it's almost like a month after our championships. And when I say our championships, I mean like their championship was the same weekend as ours. Before they would be off, their schedule would be like about 2 or 3 weeks off of ours type of thing. Like they would go further on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's turned out that now they've adapted to our scheduling now.
Mm-hmm.
So we've both leagues, they play for the Canadian men's football league championship, and it's quite fitting that it's named after Sid Forster.
That's pretty cool.
Even though he's never won one. And I say that because Sudbury has been to 2 national championships.
I didn't even know it existed.
1967 and 1968.
I didn't even know that.
67 was in Montreal and 68 was in Winnipeg. We both, and I think the last one we lost to was Valdor. And they were, before they started this national championship between the 2 leagues, Valdor Bulldogs were the last ones to win it.
Yeah.
Which was 1969. Yeah, 70-0. Yeah.
Oh,
But
it's terrible.
James was just pointing at the middle of
No.
our schedule across the screen where it was 70-0 against the Titans that we held them under. Hey, we held them under 500 yards passing.
Okay, yeah. The one thing that I've picked off of this all-time stats is that the Spartans have played 460 games.
Yep.
It's more than any other team on that list.
Yeah, this past year, Oakville, they finally won their 200th franchise regular season win. Sudbury, the stats don't say it on the site right now because it only has Sudbury has 255 regular season wins. Now we also have 44 playoff wins.
That's a lot.
We are 1 win away from 300 combined wins. We had before we came back. It was 3. We needed 3 wins. In 2011, we went 2-6. This year we went 0-8. So it's bound to happen.
You didn't go. I'm not trying to be mean. You didn't go 0-8.
Hey?
Didn't go 0-8.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you did.
This year, yeah.
I thought this was playoffs right here. I was like,
No.
yeah, you went 0-8.
Yeah, we were the only team that played 7 games straight because of the.
That's 9.
Well, it's playoffs.
With the playoffs.
Yeah. We were the only team to go 7 straight games.
Yeah.
We had 2 byes after that. It was a 10-week schedule. But because of slight changes. Getting into the last week of the first week of the games, of the schedule.
Yeah.
North Bay, they couldn't commit, but they had the week off anyway. So it actually helped a bit for them to maybe even if they could, but they had until that point. It was 2 days before the season, so it was about to start, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, ooh, if you click on there, James has just clicked on our store for our Spartans gear. We are doing a Spartans gear store, and it is new stuff every month.
New stuff every
And
month.
it's not just new stuff every month; it's different stuff every month.
That's what I took as new as.
No. When new, you mean
When you
you're
said
adding
new stuff every month,
you're
I thought
adding
you meant
stuff.
different stuff every
yeah,
month.
but you're adding stuff. This here is there's 6 items right there right now. That like I gotta update this here image of our stuff. That was our August merchandise. September is gonna be different stuff.
This is just an option I'm just putting out there, but there's a $1 billion industry of sex. So we thought about sex toys with Spartans gear. Think about it. The Spartans logo on top of a dildo.
On top,
On top.
not just make a sex doll.
I know, but I'm just saying it's a $1 billion industry. Maybe you could tap into some new fans and stuff. You could literally tap into. Could you imagine someone's face going to the store and seeing some? I don't know.
No, we're trying to be. We're
There's
clean
just
family fun here. Come on.
Okay. I'll get back. So yeah, I honestly thought when you were gonna come, we were gonna talk about maybe some movies
We can if you want.
and stuff. We're getting on
Part
the-
2. Come on.
Well, literally, we're getting into the hour and 40 minutes just on the Spartans. So
Sports.
yeah, this
Up next, weather.
Weather, yeah. This episode, yeah, it was really fun. It's good having a guest. So whenever you're up for it, you know, I'm up for it. I usually do it on the weekends.
Yeah.
That's when I do it. So I think I have a friend of mine from college coming in next week. I don't want to make any promises, just in case, you know, things change,
Yeah.
you know, for the people out there. But it's always fun having OJ because he's a wealth of knowledge, not only in stuff film, but just in stuff. If you want to know anything about amateur sport and sub-realm, he can tell you.
Yeah.
So I don't think he follows basketball as much. So
No, because there's no amateur in
this is
the
only,
subway.
yeah, it's true. This is only downfall. But that was the thing. A couple of years ago, I forget what I was watching. Or maybe it was Adam Carolla talking in a podcast about this guy. Maybe it was Kevin Smith. And, however, I don't exactly remember his name, but what he realized was there was no scouting for high school students in the States. So he started doing basketball. I think it was basketball. It was boys basketball. And he traveled on his own dime, state to state, and started building a list. No, it wasn't basketball, it was football.
Okay, yeah.
And he started building a list of the players and stats, and eventually the recruiting for colleges and universities and states started paying him money to get that report. And I mean, that is one thing I think that we lack in Canada. It's hard to do. For one, because, you know, Canada's pretty big, and it's not like the States where you can literally drive for an hour. to
Okay,
another
now-
city.
Now, for
Right.
scouting players and everything else, you want to draft them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. NFL draft. They make a big deal about it and everything, and because especially this year, the Colts, they got rid of. It was his.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he was his freelance now, and he signed with somebody else
Yeah.
because the Colts were saying, "Well, we're going to get a quarterback anyway."
Yeah.
You know, so they ended up getting luck.
Yeah.
They're lucky to get luck. You know,
Yeah.
type of thing. So it was a quarterback, and even that the year before, it was another quarterback as well. I think it was.
Quarterback going first overall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Was it Cam?
It was Cam Newton.
Yeah. Okay. About month after it, not even. CFL has their draft.
Yeah, it always happens like that. And
Okay.
they draft players from the States.
No, they draft. This is the Canadian
Yeah.
football draft, so they have to. It's from the Canadian universities.
Yeah, but they also draft from down in the States.
Who was the number one pick?
Cam Newton.
Okay, put it this way. Not a running back, not a receiver, not even a quarterback.
Oh, it's a kicker.
Not even a kicker, man. It's O-line.
Long snapper.
The O-line. Like,
Yeah.
that's the difference between the Americans and Canadians. It's like, Canadian drafts, like, they want to build their protection, as it were, for their quarterback. Because they'll get a quarterback that's been around.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. Like, usually quarterbacks go around probably with third round in CFL.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, why didn't
you know,
Belly Boy go in the CFL draft?
Who?
The guy with 1,000 passing yards. One game.
He's past that. Like, he's out of...
How old is he?
He can go to, like, training camps and stuff like that, but this league, a couple years ago, was it last year? No, 2006, we had, our quarterback was Paul Gauthier,
Yeah.
45. He was 45.
Yeah.
And
Which is
quarterback...
as old as Anthony Calvillo is
Okay.
right now.
And quarterback from Oakville, who's been in Oakville since they formed, okay, 47.
Awesome.
So, and they both, and we had an all-star game that week, that year, where they all came up. It was fun too. We always joke because they always like to come up, and the guys from down south, they always like coming up to Sudbury so they can visit their kids.
So are you excited for the NFL season then?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You're not sure. Last year I had in my football draft at work, I had Darren McFadden as my running back. He was doing awesome till week 6.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, is he off of,
He's back.
is he back?
Yeah,
okay.
he's back.
Because I also had another running back last season. I had Best. So somewhere around week 6, I was scrambling for 2 running backs. But I did finish the season first overall. I went 13-1. It was awesome. And I lost in the first round of the playoffs. So this season, I hope goes different. Do you do you don't do football drafts,
No,
eh?
no.
No, they're fun. I do one with Ray, who's kind of whatever. He has one, so it's kind of fun to do. It kind of takes out. You set your lineup, and you're like, okay, the week you check it the day before, they play whatever. But I was kind of hoping to get Cam Newton. I had Cam Newton last year, so I always pick this. Loads. I usually pick get really lucky with my quarterback. So this is my work football one, and first round going through, all of a sudden Cam Newton gets picked. I'm like, motherfucker. Okay. I scrambled. So see who my quarterback is?
Who is it?
Peyton Manning.
Oh.
Okay. Well, look what I did here.
Week 4.
No. Andrew Luck.
Oh, you got him.
I picked him up.
Nice.
And I proposed a trade to this guy, and he's trying to send me. No, that's not. No. See, that won't work for me. You're not going to send me this guy. I don't want Jones. See, he won't send me who I want. I sent him a trade, and I said I wanted Cam Newton because that's who picked up Cam Newton. So I sent him a fairly good trade, but he obviously sent it back and not wanted it. But yeah, I find football trades good, and he's trying to send me some stuff that I'm not taking. Obviously, I'm not gonna take that. I'm gonna take my chance with Andrew Luck this year. Obviously now because I can't get Newton. So do you think Newton will have the point production that he had last year? Like for fantasy league, he was probably one of the best. Like besides I think he finished third out of quarterbacks, but he was still good. I actually had at the beginning of the season. Okay, I forgot that it was draft night, and I guess I drafted first overall, and I forgot to touch my pre-rankings. So I actually picked up Cam Newton as a free agent before the season started, because nobody touched him, right? And my first quarterback that I had was Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so I have Aaron Rodgers, and I pick up Cam Newton. What do you think I do with Aaron Rodgers?
Trade him.
I traded him, and everyone laughed at me. But meanwhile, Cam Newton is not. He's putting up lots of points. Like, sure, most nights Aaron Rodgers putting up 50 points in a football pool. That's a lot of fucking points.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, he's doing about 45.
Yeah.
And he's getting touchdowns, and he's charismatic, and he's like, if you didn't like football before, if you weren't a fan of the Carolina Panthers, well, you might be now, because just the way he plays, right? So I'm excited for this season. I want to see what happens. The only thing that's really ticking me off at the moment is the replacement refs, which is absolutely terrible. They're making bad calls. They're not looking the right way at the camera, and yeah.
It's only preseason right now.
It is only preseason, and I hope that the real, true NFL referees come, like, get the deal signed. Come on, it's suffering right now.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna make a very bad call, and it's gonna cost it. If, God forbid, something happens in Oakland, right? And
no. I'm an Oakland fan, and
I know.
And they've already had stuff happen last year with Al Davis passing away. So this is their season.
I know. What I'm saying is, if it's the last game of the season and they're still with replacement referees, right? And it comes down to the last play, and the Raiders are out of the playoffs if they don't make this. The referee makes a bad call.
When clearly
the referee will get shot on the field. You don't need a psychic to know this. I'm telling you right now, that's what will happen. They need to get the real referees back. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just like all this union stuff with the teachers in Sudbury and I guess all over Ontario.
Yeah.
They're getting fucked.
Yeah.
Because of the government, really.
Yeah.
Saying, no, yeah, guess what? Wage freeze. Yeah? Well, why don't you fucking price freeze everything for the next 2 years then?
Yeah.
Price freeze gas, price freeze food, price feed every fucking thing else. But you're gonna price feed someone's wages so they can't have a raise?
Now, see,
I know you're a little bit closer to this situation than I am,
so I get information from, I hear it on the news, and it's mostly the government, their side of it type of thing. And you don't very often hear it from the teacher's side of it. And even if I wasn't married to a teacher, I still think they should give in to the teachers. Let the teachers, they're the ones teaching the students, and you say that children are our future. Teach them about it then. Yeah. Instead of because when they do extracurricular activities, that's outside of school. That's extra stuff.
Yeah.
If you take away certain things from what the teachers are limited to do, they're not going to do.
Yeah. Well,
there's not going to be any kind of extracurricular.
What people don't know, and I know this because my daughter plays high school basketball.
Yeah.
You can have a coach from outside the school come, and he can coach. So they had a coach last year. He wasn't a teacher, former teacher, but still not a teacher. He came in. There still has to be a teacher on the bench every game.
Yeah.
So this teacher, not getting paid to do anything, most likely taking stats in a basketball game.
Yeah.
In football, it might be easier to come across. Like Dirks obviously is doing it because he's a football guy,
and he is a teacher,
right? And he is a teacher, but it's still he stays late after school.
Yeah.
He has practices 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is. There's, I wouldn't say like family life for teachers who also coach have to be a little bit harder as well, because they're away from their family until okay. Put it in perspective. Teachers finish at maybe 10 to 3, and then they're home by 5. It's a little bit later, but it's still time away from their home and everything else. So even though they're on it, even though if they wanted to go outside and say, okay, no more coaches from inside the school, well, they still need somebody there because it's a school sport.
Now, of course, you get outside of sports, because there is other things.
Oh yeah,
for extracurricular stuff that's outside of sports, because there is other programs.
Yeah, Math Olympics.
Yeah, and not only that, there's also like breakfast club stuff too, and everything. Yeah. And somebody's got to get it, and it's a teacher.
Yeah.
That has to go and get the stuff.
Who goes in early and gets things ready.
Yeah.
And
afterwards, too, they go and they have to pick up stuff.
Yeah.
They obviously they get reimbursed, or there's an account there. So they just sign it off, and they just have to do the paperwork afterwards. But it's the fact of transporting stuff outside of school time to bring it in and sort it out, and then do that. And it's like, you think about it, and you look at all these politicians and CEOs and everything. They're making all this money, yet you base it right back down to like, okay, how did you do in school? Yeah, somebody taught you to make all that money, so you can do what you have to do. Teachers are not paying enough,
and teachers nowadays don't deal with the same stuff like when we were in school. We give them a hard time, like we did spitballs or some shit.
No, they have it worse.
They have it worse now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how I ended up on this topic. Oh, the NFL referees
and
their
union. Yeah.
And then I thought about the teachers union, which is totally unfair. I saw it today. Like, I don't know. I know some people who are teachers.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I've met your wife a few times. She's a teacher.
Yeah.
I know a whole bunch of people I went to high school with that are teachers. I know some other people through basketball and stuff that are teachers, and one girl actually is in charge of the breakfast club at LaSalle.
Yeah.
I know. And she's there early. And she's there late. And, to all of a sudden say, you can't go on strike, and we're proposing a 2-year wage freeze. It's almost, you might as well say, we're not a free nation. We're communists now. Because that's the way that it is. And the only thing that's good about actually saying we're free and not actually being communists is I can say, you're being a fucking communist and not go to jail for it. Right? So, yeah. There was just like little things that I like to bring into the podcast that are going on currently, and then hopefully maybe someone listens to it. I think Stephen Harper's listening.
Let's hope.
I hope so. I wanted to know everything about the Spartans. No.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's, it's just, there's dumb people out there, and I don't care if I offend people by calling them dumb. It's just,
they don't know.
It's like what, do you 11 people that listen to you?
Yeah. They're all smart.
Yeah, because the dumb ones aren't listening to this.
Yeah.
Because if they're smart.
Wait. We can't say the dumb ones aren't listening to it because maybe we'll have new listeners.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Because I'm going to go home as soon as you upload this here later on. Whenever you upload, I'm going to say, okay, everybody, listen to this.
Yeah.
Listen to my weird voice.
It's either today or tomorrow, depending on what time we're done. But we're almost done.
It is the long weekend in Canada, so we probably won't have anybody listening till Tuesday anyway. So.
No, the second I put it up, everyone listens. Millions. So next time you come back, we'll talk about movies.
I had a list of movies I want to talk about, but you want to talk about football,
I don't know. We just went briefly on what you're doing, and it just
documentaries. Yes,
documentaries.
Something I'm not doing. Yes,
yeah, but now you should.
Well, like I said, I just do put pictures to this podcast. And
what would be? Nah, don't do that. What would be your goal? Would your goal not to people if they're outside of Sudbury won't know? Would it be sweet to have it a documentary about amateur sport in Sudbury, football,
or otherwise.
yes,
Yeah.
or otherwise, played at Cinefest.
You're really thinking small, aren't you?
Would that tickle? That's not that. I mean, I'm saying that would tickle your director bone a little.
Now,
bit.
okay, yeah. Now,
I'm just saying.
I've always wanted to put a film in at Cinefest.
Yeah.
You know, which plays September 15th to the 23rd at Cineplex, Silver City, Sudbury.
Talk about segues.
You can get your tickets at Cinefest. I don't know their phone number, but it ends with 1234, which is hilarious.
It's 524. 1224.
1234, yeah. So, but no, yeah, I've always wanted to put a movie in at Cinefest, but because I'm always working, especially there, I never get the time to put something together. One of the guys that's with Cinefest, Patrick, I did back in high school. I did a short film for him.
Yeah.
And it was for one of his projects. It was for one of the school plays, and it was a video will. We filmed it and everything. It was supposed to be, like a living will type of thing, like a video will. So, and a couple years ago, he was tempted to submit it on my behalf type thing, but for him or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So no, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
If I start something together.
I mean, I know Cinefest is actually small. There's the Toronto Film Festival.
You know what?
Sweet, right?
To be honest, Sudbury is in the Sudbury's festival is in the top 5. And when I say top 5, I'm not going to say like it's number 5. I mean like it's up there. It fluctuates, but it's in the top 5 festivals in Canada. It is.
Yeah.
Toronto is up there, number 1. Sometimes it's Vancouver, but Sudbury's always up there. And
a couple of years ago, when I was laid off, I was working at the theater. Cinefest was there. Yeah. Ray was complaining. The booth on the other side was absolutely horrid.
Yeah.
It didn't look anything like you thought it would look like or should look like.
Well,
it's funny, but anyhow, I remember Michael Moore sent up a print of Capitalism.
That was before Cinefest.
But it also got played at Cinefest.
It got played at the following Cinefest as well, but there was also
an advanced screening.
Advanced screening for because it was at the strike during the time, and the thing of it is, they had security in our booth as well.
Yeah.
To watching the print as well because of piracy, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's like the perfect thing to do, like. I not only that, it's like the perfect job, like, oh, I have to sit and watch a print. I have to sit and watch a movie, and not just sit and watch a movie. He's watching the movie where the projector is.
Yeah.
So, I believe it started. Like it was, and when we're talking about booths, we're talking about like it was an actual print of film.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, let's do this. Okay, so for the next episode, OJ's going to talk about movies, but this one's ending here because right now we're at 2 hours and 2 minutes, and I haven't put the intro in yet, and I haven't put the outro in.
You can probably do a 2-parter.
This is part 1, and part 2 will come out later.
No, I mean out of this one, you can do a 2-parter.
No, I'm gonna just issue the 2 hours. If people listen to it, they listen to it, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of it. You put out 2 hours, and if they listen to it, they listen to it. Sometimes I get stuff maybe from, I'm not saying all the time, but if it's 2 hours, if it's somebody good, I'll listen to it. But if it's after a while, if it doesn't tweak me, it doesn't tweak me,
Yeah.
But sometimes, like there was 2 episodes of Fat Man on Batman with Mark Hamill.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I could listen to them for days,
I can re-listen to it
over and over. So we'll end this one here, and then OJ will talk about movies, and that'll be the other episode. So thanks for talking Spartans.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk movies in a second, but not for everyone else.
So
we're pulling a Kevin Smith.
Yeah, we're pulling a Kevin Smith. So you guys drag you out.
Yeah. Okay. See you next week. Next episode. Bye.
Next episode.
So there you have it. Everything you want to know about the Sudbury Spartans, high school football, and amateur sport in Sudbury. Now, we did record the second episode. I'm not putting it up right now, obviously, because 2 hours is just really long. So I'm going to put it up in a couple of days. I'm going to put it together and have it force feed it to you. You don't really care about those facts, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast. OJ will be back some time down the road. I have another special guest lined up, and we'll go from there. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast, even though it was a lot longer than what I usually do, but I hope it was interesting to you. If not, I hope the next one will grab your attention again. It's shorter, a little bit, and it's about movies, just like we ended on. So I hope you all had a good time, and I hope you come back for more. That is James for OJ on Ehnother podcast. Hope to see you around again. Bye.